Good morning, I'm Shannon Sims.
And I'm Charles Benson. Welcome to 4-1 Forward.
From today's TMJ4, this is 4-1 Forward.
Well, it could be a game changer for Milwaukee.
We're talking about an effort to close the housing and unemployment gap.
Ben Jordan on a proposal by city leaders to bring businesses together to form a cooperative.
We have more than our fair share of minorities that are unemployed.
Milwaukee Alderman Bob Donovan is excited about his plan to address that issue.
We certainly have all the ingredients.
It would require some of the biggest businesses in Milwaukee to come together.
We have, first of all, businesses that are good corporate citizens who want to help the community.
Donovan says Miller Brewing, Harley-Davidson, local hospitals, and colleges could be the answer.
They're purchasing many things, millions of dollars that are spent every year.
Rather than outsourcing for basic needs such as filling their cafeterias with produce or cleaning their clothes,
we could manufacture a lot of those things right here in Milwaukee.
Donovan says his proposal came from a Journal Sentinel report about a similar program.
What I wanted to do was find the best practices for a lot of things that we could do here.
Columnist James Cossey says his research took him to Cleveland, where several businesses collaborated to create a cooperative.
I want to see something like this go to fruition.
Now the city is calling on Will Allen to get things going in Milwaukee.
This looks great.
Allen is the CEO of Growing Power, a greenhouse and urban farming cooperative with a similar mission. He's hoping Milwaukee's biggest employers join in.
They can help create businesses within their businesses to so people can have a living wage and we can end poverty.
Ben Jordan, today's TMJ4.
Now, this co-op program would be designed similar to the successful program in Cleveland.
So James Causey has written extensively about the Cleveland program in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and we are happy to have you here on 4-1 Forward. So James, get us started here. What caught your attention about this Cleveland co-op program?
Well, doing my research, this was a 6-month project that I was working on. I started talking to leaders about what's working in other places, and everyone kept talking about this Cleveland cooperative, so I decided to go there and see what it was all about. And when I got there, I was really amazed at what they were doing with people that have the hardest time finding jobs.
Is it an easy sell?
Easy sell here? I hope it is. I mean, it seems like a lot of people are on board. You know, it has the backing of Donovan. A lot of Common Council aldermen seem to be co-sponsors of it, so I think so.
But James, even in your research and your time here in the city leaders had gone to Cleveland and saw this cooperative 5 years ago. What happened then?
That's a good question. When they went 5 years ago, they saw a lot of good things happening. But then, you know, a lot of ideas that start in other places, when they come back here, they lose their steam. And that happens a lot in the city.
But as we saw Will Allen talk about their end poverty, I mean, what a great goal. How does this sort of get you to that goal?
Well, ending poverty is like, that's the big picture.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
But I think what we can do is focus on people who really want to work, really want to become homeowners, and really want to be a part of this process to turn their lives around. And that's what this cooperative does.
So where's the buy-in? Who needs to buy in?
Well, I think big businesses need to buy
Okay.
in. Anchor institutions that cannot leave the city, who outsource a lot of their finances outside the city, they need to start investing in people here, and that's how you do it.
James, let's take a look at some of the pictures that you took while you were on your trip to Cleveland. This is from where?
That's from the cooperative, the greenhouse cooperative. It's one of the largest greenhouses in the Midwest, and they produce over 3 million heads of lettuce every year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it seems that what Cleveland is also doing is using green jobs to create jobs and that sense of home ownership. Talk to me about what do you think Milwaukee needs to do to get more buy-in, I would say maybe from some of the bigger corporations and or hospitals, which Cleveland Clinic is a big sponsor of this in Cleveland.
Well, some of that is actually happening right now. Freighter and the VA hospitals, they are already working with the Goodwill Industries and employing people. But it needs to be more of that kind of collaboration. And I think that can happen, but people have to come to the table first in order for that to take place.
And is that hard, though? Is coming to the table hard, getting those people to come to the table? I mean, we see Donovan.
Yeah, that's like the hardest part, because what you're doing, you're telling big businesses to share secrets, share their finances, and with their competition in a lot of cases. So they have to do a lot of that for it to happen.
So everybody always talks about limited resources. in the Cleveland project? Were there city dollars, federal dollars, and what does the Milwaukee model need to have?
Well, yeah, to get this off the ground, the big businesses, they were outsourcing more than $3 billion a year outside of Cleveland.
$3 billion.
$3 billion. So what they decided to do is, what would happen if we just invested just a portion of that inside of Cleveland and create 3 companies? When they did. And what they saw is that this could really work. So that's the thing that needs to happen. So big businesses need to reinvest inside Milwaukee for it to happen. Now, how that happens, that's the big picture. That's what requires a lot of work.
But you were able to get the dialogue started here.
Again.
Again. And so what do you hope happens here in the next month, in the next year? How do you get the ball continue to roll?
I hate to say this, but what we saw happen in Sherman Park last year is a great reason why something like this needs to happen today. A lot of people in Sherman Park were complaining about the lack of opportunities that existed there. So this is opportunity, and this is an opportunity that we can't waste.
Especially when you think of the businesses that left not only Sherman Park, but the surrounding areas like the A.O. Smith, that many people depended on and were able to see the American dream through home ownership. But once those jobs left, they no longer had a place to work.
Well, see, that's what's big here. Just like Cleveland, in Milwaukee, we lost half of our manufacturing jobs. And so these are not manufacturing jobs, these are green jobs. And a lot of the country is going green right now, so this makes a lot of sense.
And it's also creating those jobs and opportunities in those neighborhoods. It's not about creating it somewhere at a greater distance, right?
That's the key. Because these 3 businesses that were created, the greenhouse, the solar panel company, and the laundry facility, are located right in the areas with the greatest needs.
So less transportation to get to.
Oh yeah, a lot of people actually walk to work, so that's
And
great.
then the other key benefit is to close the housing gap. So if you're getting paid, if you're making money, you can then improve home ownership?
Yeah, the home ownership is key to this, because if you work for one of the cooperatives for a certain period of time, you become part of the ownership, you can actually own a home within like 3
or 5 years?
3 to 5 years or something like that.
That's awesome, James.
It's great.
I'm so glad you were able to bring this again to Milwaukee through your series, What Happened to Us. And if you haven't read it, you should read it on the Journal-Sentinel.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Hey, thank you.
All right, coming up on 4-1 Forward, what will it take for Milwaukee to model the Cleveland plan?
We'll talk with city and community leaders on what needs to happen for everyone to buy in. Plus, food for the future, how 2 young men are taking their message of conservation to a new level with aquaponics.